Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today I am at Jimmy Granger Ford here in Stonewall, Louisiana. We're going to take a quick look at this 2020 Ford Ecosport. This is the titanium trim level. We're going to take a quick look at this model, and I'll list all of the different trim levels available with this model and what their base prices are. And one of the interesting features for 2020 as far as something that's standard is that the EcoSport or EcoSport, whichever you want to call it, every single trim level is available to be ordered in an all-wheel drive format. That's what this one is right here. In fact, I'll show you real quick here on the rear door where it says that 4WD down there, or four-wheel drive. And you do have halogen headlights. You have the turn signals down there. As you can see, I have the hazard lights on. And right there on the other side of the turn signal, of course, is the fog light. And just a quick look at the lines of this model before we take a look under the hood and show you what motivates this model to get down the road. And here under the hood is the 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that powers this EcoSport. Mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. And I'll put everything on the screen as far as horsepower, torque, and MPG numbers so that you know what you have there. And of course, there are multiple safety features on this model as well that I will also list on the screen as we take a quick look around here. Of course, you can see that you do have the turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors. Now, these are manually or power adjustable side view mirrors, but if you want to fold the mirrors in, of course, that's going to be done manually. Can go in both directions depending on the situation, or if you happen to bump something, at least you know they won't be damaged. They'll be just knocked back a little bit. And just to show you here, there is no gas cap. It does have capless fuel fill. Now, just in the interest of fair reporting, before we open this rear swinging door, it swings open, don't go looking for the release to open the door in the rear on this area. It's actually located right here. It's kind of hard to probably see that, but there's a button underneath there that you're going to use. And this model does have above average cargo space for its class. And as you can see, you do have a little bit of a cargo cover here that is removable, by the way, and you can maximize your cargo space. And I'll show you how to do this in just a second. Now, if you notice these pieces right here on each side, what that is, and it's gonna be very hard for me to do one-handed, I think, but that is called a shelving unit. You can actually take the floor and move it up to both places. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. So you can see the spot there for the floor. I brought it up one notch, and then there's another level you can go up, as you can see as well. But like I said, that's kind of hard to do one-handed. Here in the rear, to lower the rear seats, there is a button on the outside of each seat, and make sure that you lower the headrest. And that way you can lower your 60-40 split rear seats to maximize cargo space. Now, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. I'm going to try and slide in here. Got the seats kind of far back, but no USB ports or anything back here. But here's something that I do find kind of interesting. There is actually a power outlet right there. Very useful, but kind of seems a little unusual in a smaller SUV, a subcompact like this. But hey, if you need one, that's not so bad. Now, Ford lists this as a moonroof, a power moonroof, but if you want to call it a sunroof, some people don't like the word moonroof from what I've been told in comments before, but that's what Ford calls it, so I guess that's what I'll call it as well. But it is there. You do have a manual shade if you want to push that up. I can't push it all the way up from this position, but just so you can see what is there. We'll take a quick look here at the driver's side door. Features and functionality that you have here that you would expect. Just a quick look over to the passenger side, and with it being the time of year that it is, getting a little bit cooler in a lot of places, not so much here in Northwest Louisiana as other places. If you need to know how much air pressure is supposed to be in your tires, here's the sticker right inside the driver's side door that is going to tell you that. You have a 6-way adjustable power driver's seat and a 4-way adjustable passenger seat, and via this release right here, you can adjust, tilt, and telescopically the steering wheel as you so desire. And one of the interesting things you might not expect to find in an EcoSport is the push button start. This is the titanium trim level, so that is what you're going to have. And of course, these steering wheel mounted controls, you can surf your way via these controls right here through quite a few different features and different information about your vehicle. There's even a nice picture of your EcoSport. Not the same color as the one that we have on our test model today, but it is there. So just to kind of show you what is available as far as surfing through different features and functionality. Of course, you do have cruise control here, everything for controlling the radio, answering and hanging up on phone calls, and good things like that. And of course, the infotainment screen. And for those who maybe have held on to their vehicles long enough to have yet to have a vehicle with this kind of technology in it, don't let it scare you away, especially on these Fords. It's a very simplistic system to learn, not difficult at all. A lot of nice features and functionality here, different settings you can make. Let it show you what's here. And of course, you do have a backup camera. Let's see here, hit the wrong thing right there, but we'll hit the camera settings just so you can see what is there. You can turn things on and off if you want to, and of course go back right there depending on what your needs are. Very simple to use. As you can see, you do have Wi-Fi, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay are available for these models. And as you can see, you can pair your phone. And actually, this navigation is voice activated, so you can use that functionality if you wish to. And of course, everything here for the radio, volume, tuning, all that good stuff, pretty simple. Here's your air conditioning, not dual zone climate control, but in an interior of this size, something that's not really necessary. But as you can see, it's pretty simple to figure out as far as direction of the air, where you turn it on, turning it off, temperature right there, fan speed right there. And if you're wondering about USB ports, there are a couple here right there. And you can turn the auto stop start feature on and or off depending on what you want to. You also have a 12-volt power outlet right there, and just kind of a conventional shifter, not push button or anything like that. There's the parking brake if you need it. And you do have a sliding cover here for your console that basically doubles as an armrest. One of those multitaskers I like to talk about. And there is your console. Not a huge console, but there is some space there nonetheless. And we'll take a quick look inside the glove box. Definitely a lot more space in the glove box than you might expect if you compare the size of the console to the size of the glove box. Now, before we do our test drive, I just want to do a quick little turning radius demonstration here. This is not going to be a real surprise to anybody, I don't think, and hopefully you can tell how well this little EcoSport turns. It has a spectacular turning radius, typical of a smaller SUV like this. Now, the main reason I made this video is because I had somebody ask me about another EcoSport I made a video with, which was actually in 2019. And I had forgotten how that model rode. According to the reviews that I read, doing a little research on this vehicle, because it's been so long since I've done a video on one of these EcoSports, or EcoSports, whichever you want to say, I couldn't remember how it rode. But a lot of those reviews basically said it had a rough, choppy ride on most road surfaces. And to be honest, I haven't really found that to be terribly bad. The ride quality isn't necessarily super duper smooth, but at the same time, it's not really rough either. It's kind of in between. It's comfortable, it's bearable, it's not a problem. A short wheelbase SUV like this, yeah, it's probably going to have a little bit of a rough ride on some road surfaces, but I haven't really found it to be too terribly bad. And of course, you don't have a huge amount of horsepower under your foot, but that's probably not why you would buy one of these EcoSports to begin with. They do get really good gas mileage, and so if you're looking for something that has above average cargo space and decent gas mileage, well, this would definitely be something to consider. And honestly, in years gone by, the subcompact models of any vehicle, whether it's Ford, Chevrolet, or whatever it is, they're really not going to be something you would think of having a lot of really great technology and all that kind of stuff. But obviously these models have that. With the 8-inch infotainment screen and the other features that are here in this model, well, you could call this a high-tech subcompact. Maybe not the most proficient in that respect, but when you compare it to vehicles of years gone by, it definitely has some solid technology. It does have blind spot monitoring and I don't have anybody close enough to me to really give a demonstration of that. I guess I could always do that in the parking lot, but it is there, and you can see it in the side view mirrors right there. But we're just going to cruise on down the road here. And, you know, earlier, going back to the main purpose of this video, to talk about ride quality and how it drives and accelerates and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to floor it to get it to move decently well. In fact, when you have some of these motors, such as this 2-liter 4-cylinder, sometimes if you ease into the gas pedal, and I know for people that aren't necessarily car fanatics, it might not make a lot of sense to say that, but when you ease into it, it tends to accelerate a little bit better because the air and fuel ratio can keep up with each other a little more effectively. And as I drive over these bridges, when I did my test drive earlier, or just drove it around kind of trying to dry it off after I had it washed, I honestly didn't even notice driving over those bridges that I just drove over back there. Now, I'm noticing some of the bumps in the road, but honestly, it's not that bad. And I realize that one of the challenges you might run into is, depending on what you're used to driving every day, it could make a difference as to how you review these cars when you do this kind of thing for a living, as I do. And so I have to try and take that into consideration. To me, this isn't that bad of a ride. But I also came from having an F-150 that I recently traded in that didn't ride well at all. This isn't bad, and we're just going to accelerate up the hill here. You can hear the engine working somewhat hard. I did probably push the gas pedal a little harder than I needed to, but it is what it is. Overall, it's definitely not a high horsepower vehicle. It rides well. It's going to get the job done as far as getting down the road and getting you where you need to go safely, and you have the cargo space available that you do, and well, not a bad little vehicle to drive around in. So if you're looking for something that rides well, decently well, and drives well, and all that kind of stuff, a little bit of storage space, cargo space, well, you're going to save gas mileage as well, and other great features that, well, at one point just weren't even a thought on a subcompact, such as the infotainment screen. And I did forget to turn off the auto stop start feature. It's going to tell you that it's off down there. You probably can't see that on the screen, but anyway, got to thank my friends here at the dealership for loaning me this model for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch. I appreciate that always, guys. Tell me what you want to see me feature here on my YouTube channel, and I will do everything I can to make that happen. Thanks for taking the time to watch. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.